the Nevis Tourism Authority announced its panel of 2022 ambassadors as part of the Destination Tourism Ambassador Program. This program is a partnership formed with a select group of travel tastemakers, influencers, and journalists chosen exclusively for their familiarity with the island. Last week, we featured one of the ambassadors, Nakiva Marie. Now, today, we have the absolute pleasure of featuring another one of these ambassadors, Brian Major, who is a Caribbean media expert. Join us as we warmly welcome Brian to Good Morning SKN. Good morning, Brian, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, and thank you for having me today. I'm happy to be here. It's our pleasure.
Welcome. So what was your reaction when you found out that you were selected as one of Nevis 2022 tourism ambassadors?
My reaction was great surprise. I was really, I was almost stunned by, it was an honor to be thought of that way, and to be asked to represent a country. Any country is certainly a country that I have personal ties to and travel to, and it's part of my work. So it was unbelievable. Probably the biggest highlight of my career, really.
Oh.
That's such an honor to have you say that, right? That it's the biggest highlight of your career. When you think about Nevis and the ways, obviously, that you are going to, let's say, quote unquote, sell Nevis, your links to journalism, how do the two fuse to create a story or a narrative that says that Nevis is the great place as a tourism destination?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Nevis is a tiny island, 36 square miles. And within this small island, there is so much. The way to tell the story in my practice, the way I would do it and the way I try to do it is to be really honest and forthcoming about what Nevis is and what it isn't. You're going to have to most times fly to St. Kitts to access Nevis, but that's part of the adventure and charm.
And Brian, before that break, we were talking about the way that you would write the story, the narrative, so to speak, of Nevis. How would you sell it? Using, of course, your journalism background and as well your ties to the island.
Yeah, Nevis is a destination that doesn't need a lot of hyperbole. You just need to kind of reveal its quality. It's a 36 square mile island that has so much in it, and it's a little hidden. You're going to have to fly to St. Kitts and take a boat over to Nevis, a fast ferry, short trip. It's part of the adventure, and when you're there, you're going to find beautiful beaches, some of the best beaches in the Caribbean, and spacious and intimate and beautiful, with beautiful waters and sand. But it's also mountainous. There's a mountain at the center of Nevis Peak, 3,200-foot mountain with rainforest surrounding it. And the ruins of the rainforest, the ruins of plantations that were located in that area remain, and you can take tours and hiking and horseback and ATV tours there. And there's amazing history and culture, of course. Nevis is tied to American history through Alexander Hamilton, who was born there. It's tied to African and American history through the slave industry and the slave trade, which there are tours that reveal the truths and the conditions that enslaved people, endured there, and the post-slavery story of colonial, post-colonial ownership and development. So it is a rich tableau that almost tells itself. You don't really have to, and from a journalistic standpoint, I just kind of try to reveal what Nevis is, because it really is something very special.
And you have already sold Nevis to the world, in my opinion. So when it comes to Nevis, what is your absolute best place to visit? Because Nevis is also my favorite place to visit.
Wow. Great. Another great question. What is the best place to visit? Okay, you know what? I'm not going to, I'm going to give, I'm going to do this in categories because it depends on what you like and what you're interested in. So if you're interested in history and culture, just walk through Charlestown, the capital, the colonial capital. It's a small colonial capital. It's not big, but in this district, you're going to find a Jewish cemetery. You're going to find churches that date to the 18th century and include marble floors where people are interred in the floor. Nevis Tours is a great company that provides tours run by Greg Phillip, who is a Nevisian. So he provides a great walk through the historic center. You can walk over to the Bath Hotel, which is another 18th century structure that hosted English colonial big shots, let's say, in its day, and is built on top of a natural spring where you can put your feet into it. People bathe in it daily for its healing powers. You can do that on just a casual walk through town. So that's one. And then secondly, Nevis is also really casual. So you should hit a beach bar when you're in Nevis. And the beach bar to be at is Sunshine's. Everybody goes there. It's
you gotta
like
get a killer bee.
You got to get a killer bee, everybody. If you go to Nevis, somehow you wind up at Sunshine before long, and then you crawl back up the beach to your resort.
Yeah.
Back to the but you had a good time. So, everybody goes there. Sunshine's a friendly guy. You'll see him there from time to time. So it's all good there. And then the last thing I'd say to do in Nevis is to take a tour in the hills. If you're a hiker, do it hiking. If you're a horseback person, you can arrange a horseback tour. If you're like me, you like this new ATV tour that they're doing. There are a couple of providers, Queen City Adventures and the Funky Monkey, two really great companies that provide ATV tours. You drive your own ATV or you ride in the back of one if you want around the hills and mountains, and they point out hidden spots around the island, and you can see the rest of Nevis from the hills of Nevis Peak. So it's something you should not miss. I mean, you can see the coast, and it's just incredible. There's so much in Nevis. So those are the things. It's hard to say just one, but those are what I'd say.
Yeah.
I know that it's hard indeed. Cortencia is always here saying, I think she's stolen the Vision slogan, Nevis is nice. And I'm going to relegate her to the other side of the waters after today for certain. But you've definitely been doing a good job of selling Nevis, Brian. So this is another difficult question for you. And this is a personal question, not just about the selling points of Nevis, but for you, when you visit the island, what is the one place that you absolutely have to visit?
Well, since learning about the history of Cottle Church, that is probably the place I have to visit when I'm there. When we travel to the Caribbean, Americans, we love everything everyone else loves about the Caribbean, the beautiful sunshine and, and all of the great pursuits and activities, the opportunity to relax and feel, at ease. But also, this is a way for us Americans to connect with the history that we all need to know more about. It's at times it's painful, the history of slavery, but it also lets us know where we came from and how far we need to go. We have many struggles to endure and to continue to fight. So we need to be armed with information. And I love to go to Cottle Church, which was the first church in the Caribbean to allow, the builder was a white planter, John Cottle, but his idea was to allow his enslaved people he enslaves, and his family to worship together. And this was a big step, or it was considered a big step at the time. And really, it did lead to the end of slavery in the Caribbean and the English colonial slavery system. So we're going step by step through our history And I think it's important for us to know our history and not to have it obscured or misrepresented in any way. I like to see the truth. And when you go to Cottle Church, they even have a plaque at the back of this historic church, which is a stone wall building. The roof is not there any longer. It's the remnants of the building, but it's well preserved. And at the back of the wall is a list of the people, the parishioners, including the enslaved people who are designated as such. And then some have last names and some don't. And you can tell the ones who are enslaved and have last names were probably owned or born in the U.S., and the others were Africans who had recently come over. So it's a piece of history that nobody should miss. And that's my favorite place to go.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. It's definitely on my bucket list of places to visit the next time I go to Nevis. So,
and you have to kind of go up a winding road. It's not easy to access. So, but once you get to the clearing, it's really something beautiful.
No, thank you for sharing that. It just goes to another reason why Nevis is so magical. It's history, and it's a little hidden gem right here in our backyard. That final question that I have for you as one of the Nevis Tourism Ambassadors for 2022 is, of course, what you would say to the general public to help them appreciate the charm that Nevis has to offer.
Charm, good word. Charm. Nevis is unlike other parts of the Caribbean. I often tell people the Caribbean is a lot more diverse, is more diverse than anybody really, than many people realize. And every island is different. And people are so familiar with the larger islands that attract millions of people every year. Nevis isn't like that. Nevis is, when you use the term hidden gem, sometimes that term is overused. That's really what Nevis is. As I was mentioning before, you have to connect from St. Kitts to get there. That's part of the adventure. It's easy to do, but that's part of the adventure. You're not directly accessing it. You're going to some place that is different. And when you're there, you're going to experience something that you can only really experience in Nevis. The sensation of an island with a volcanic mountain, a dormant volcanic mountain in the middle, and a rainforest and beautiful beaches and history and culture and wonderful people and great cuisine. And also I want to mention that there are some high-end restaurants in Nevis that really are fine dining experiences and amazing resorts as well. Beachside resorts and hillside resorts in the shadow of the mountain. So you are going to experience something you cannot experience elsewhere. That is why you want to go to Nevis. You will not forget it. And it really is something very special.
Brian, thank you so much. You've sold me, but you didn't really have to do that. But I'm certain you've sold so many other people just now. So it's been
also,
our pleasure.
It's really... It's awesome. It's an awesome place. So
that's great. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this morning about your role as Nevis Tourism Ambassador for 2022 and your personal experiences as well as a travel journalist. It's been our pleasure. Hopefully this will not be our last conversation, and this is an open invitation to you, of course. When you come back to Nevis, stop by our studio. We'd be happy to speak with you in person.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I will return to Nevis, and I'll check in with you guys. So thank you again for this opportunity. Thanks to all of you, and congratulations to my fellow Nevis ambassadors. Some really talented and wonderful folks who are very special and are great representatives of this tremendous destination.